to be your brother's keeper when you're growing up, and that develops that sense of responsibility to others. And that has an objective down the road, because we become our brother's keeper, and that eventually leads to a sense of brotherhood throughout the world. And so it's that tendency to, ability to expand one's sense of responsibility, and you realize that at the soul level we are all brothers, and because in fact that is the fact. At the soul level we are already brothers there. It's just that once that soul undergoes the incarnation into a personality life, into a physical body, then the sense of separateness enters in, which isn't natural to the soul, but we have to rediscover our oneness, and that's where developing this capacity for responsibility really is a great lesson to learn.
But at the same time, there's a fine line between being our brother's keeper, or as the Bible says, bear ye one another's burdens, and interfering with the responsibility that another soul must rightfully learn to bear. And this is a very fine line that a lot of parents have trouble with. And anybody who loves another person deeply wants to step in and spare them from making mistakes and suffering pain that could be so easily avoided if they would just do what we know is best for them, if they would only listen. But people aren't like that, and the school of hard knocks is how most of us learn. And sometimes loving somebody means standing aside, holding them in the light of one's loving thought, and allowing them to make their own way and learn their own lessons. So you can't usurp another person's responsibility.
No, in fact, there is a very famous old quote from the Bhagavad Gita that says, better a man's own dharma than the dharma of another, and the responsibility is not yours. In other words, pay attention to your own life, your own responsibility, and not that of another person, because it's interfering at a certain stage, like you said.
Yes, and a lot of very good people, very caring people who want to help and uplift can get involved in areas of another person's life that aren't rightfully their own concern. But it is hard to stand aside and watch people go through experiences that they could be spared. So what? You would step in front of someone who is about to walk in front of an oncoming vehicle. Obviously, you would not let them learn that hard lesson that they should pay attention to traffic. But on the other hand, if the learning will be something that they can assimilate and survive, perhaps one has to be able to stand aside. There are those wonderful rules for how to aid another in a treatise on white magic by Alice Bailey, which have to do with not entering in or interfering with what another person must experience, but standing by and thinking with them silently, thinking with them, thinking through the issues, gently, subtly sowing seed ideas in their consciousness that they can then work out and develop and apply. That's a little different than direct interference.
Right. I think we could take a lesson perhaps from the animal kingdom, because in the animal kingdom, once the baby has grown up and becomes able to get by on its own, then it's kind of pushed out of the nest, and by the parents. They don't hang on to their children, because they just get in the way.
Remember that baby bird that was in our yard years ago? You should tell the story of the baby bird.
Well, it was a little baby bird that he was so frantic he tried to get out of his nest. In fact, he did. He fell out of his nest way down to the ground. I went down to pick him up,
We felt sorry for
put
him.
him in a bag,
He looked bewildered.
and had to climb this tree, put him
Where am
back
I?
in his nest. And then I climbed down, went back into the house, and then a minute later you look out, and there he is on the ground again. He jumped out. So he was just trying to get out of his nest and get going in the world. And his mother was down there squawking, and she's,
We don't know if she was cheering him on or
I never knew what happened to that poor little bird, whether he just ever got back to his nest or not. But I mean, he was on his own there, and he's. But that's what you learn from the animal kingdom. The animals don't hang on to their children that long. They let them go once they're self-sustaining.
There's another more uplifting example of responsibility that we can close with, and it's a group founded by one man in Pakistan who decided, in all the violence that was occurring in the society years ago, that he would try to help on his level, one person at a time. And today his group is staffed by many people, and it rushes in when there's been a violent bombing or whatever, and they pick up the victims and carry them to the hospital, regardless of what religion they are. This was one man's initiative that started years ago, one person's sense of responsibility to do something about life in a culture that was very violent and difficult. And reading about the story of this man is so touching. His group was the one that rescued Daniel Pearl after he was murdered, and found his body and took it to the morgue. And he was Jewish. It didn't matter. They serve everyone. That's an example of the sense of responsibility that, in the face of almost overwhelming odds, prevails and becomes an increasingly strong influence in the nation. And we have to believe that's a sign of the soul demonstrating in that country. Each one of us could make a similar difference in our community.
Please take advantage of the special offer from Lucis Publishing Company, and that's the Alice Bailey book, The Soul, The Quality of Life. The Soul, The Quality of Life is a compilation of extracts from the 24 books of Alice Bailey. Just a little blurb on this particular book. The soul, the higher self or individuality, is the guiding force within every human being. It leads each individual to an understanding of his responsibility in the working out of the divine plan on earth. The soul returns to manifestation life after life for purposes of service to the plan. If you'd like to take advantage of the special offer, please ask for, request The Soul, The Quality of Life. It's available for $16 now. You need to send a check or money order, $16, to Lucis Publishing, Lucis, L-U-C-I-S, Lucis Publishing, 120 Wall Street, New York, New York, 10005. You've been listening to Inner Sight. Now we would like to close with a world prayer called The Great Invocation. It's a call for light and love and goodwill to flow into the world and into our hearts. Let's listen, for a moment, to these powerful words.
From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth.